Good morning, madam.
Right. So I waited until 7 minutes because it seems still 65 students. Right. Anyway, so I had to start, can't wait more. Right. So I don't know when you are physically coming to the faculty students, there are lectures which will start at 8, right? Right. After lectures, patanga then negative away. Right. So today we are going to conduct the lecture on loops, right? C loops. So last week we have finished C decision making, and today a new topic, C loops, right? As the lecture C decision making, C loops is also very important lecture, and it's like in almost all the programs that you are writing for the assignments and also for the exams. So they have loops. So therefore, learning loops is very essential. And there are several types of loops. So according to the context, according to the question, according to the situation, you need to select the correct loop by yourself. Sometimes there are 2 or 3 loop structures where you can use for your application, but when you apply them, you need to make certain decisions, what will be the most appropriate and which give you the desired result. So therefore, learning what are the different types of loops and what is the idea behind the loop is very essential, right? Okay, see loops. So what's it? Sometimes it is necessary for the program to execute the statement several times, right? A loop executes a block of commands a specified number of times until a condition is met, right? So this is the basic idea or the basic foundation of the loop, right? So why we need loop? Actually, to execute a particular statement several times. අපේ program එක ඇතුලේ අපිට යම්කිසි දෙයක් repetitively run කරන්න ඕන, right? Repetitively we need to run it, we need to execute it, right? We need to tell our compiler, C compiler, we need to run this particular program several times, right? In order to do so, we are using loop. යම්කිසි දෙයක් කීප වාර ගානක් run කරන්න අවශ්‍ය නම්, execute කරන්න අවශ්‍ය නම් අපි මේ C loop structure එක පාවිච්චි කරනවා. And there, so within the loop, we are able to give where to stop, where to start. First thing is where to start, then where to stop, and how to jump. Right? Loop එකක් ඇතුලේ අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් දේවල් ගොඩක් තියෙන එකක් තමයි කොහෙන්ද පටන් ගන්නෙ, right? Where to start, and also then where to stop. So if you didn't mention, right, where to stop, the loop will run until infinite number of times. Right? Stop condition එක නුදුන්නොත් ඒක අනන්ත වාර ගානක් run වෙනවා. ඒතර ඕගොල්ලන්ට තමයි program එක control C ගන්න අප ගන්න. Right? So therefore it is very important to mention, right? Normally we are mentioning the start, but sometimes within some loop structures, so some students forgot to mention where to stop. So whether we need to run the program repetitively 10 times, 5 times, 100 times, 1,000 times. So then we need to clearly specify where we need to stop. Stopping criteria. And also how to jump, right? There are some situations. For example, let's say I told you to print almost all the even numbers from 1 to 10, right? Almost all the even numbers from 1 to 10. මම කියන ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ඉරට්ටේ සංඛ්‍යා 1 සිට 10 දක්වා ටික print කරන්න. So if you run your program from 1 by 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 up to 10. So it will print almost all the numbers from 1 to 10. But that is not our requirement. Our requirement is only to print even numbers. So then you need to jump one after the other. එකක් තමයි පනින්න ඕනේ program එක. Right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So you need to omit 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 omit කරන්න ඕනේ. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 පනින්න ඕනේ. Right? So then you are commanding the program to jump not one by one, but emitting one after the other. Right? So therefore, these things you need to be very careful when you are writing a program. Right? Okay, so what is a loop? A computer is more suitable machine for performing repetitive tasks, and it can perform tasks thousands of times. So actually that is one of the main uses of computers, right? So as the human beings, right? So we have limits, right? We have limits. We felt tired, right? So then we can't perform repetition. So up to a certain limit, we can, but after that limit, we are tired. But machines is not like that. So the purpose of machine, not even the computer, whatever the machine in the production factories, right, production plants. So the ultimate purpose is to run a particular task repetitive times. Right? ගොඩක් වෙලාවට අපිට machine ගන්න ඒකනේ. දවසක් ඇතුළතදී අපි හිතමු production plant එකක right target product එක 100 වතාවක් manufacture කරනවා. Right? So then 100,000 වතාවක් manufacture කරනවා. So we can't get that accuracy efficiency with the intervention of the people. Right? සාමාන්‍ය අපේ manually අපි කරන්නේ ඒ තරම් efficiency එකක් නැහැ. Every programming language has a feature to instruct to do such repetitive tasks with the help of certain statements, right? So in order to do a particular task from a machine, so we need to have a special kind of statement, special kind of commands to run such kind of things, right? The process of repeatedly executing a collection of statements is called looping, right? The process of repeatedly executing collection of statement is called looping. Right? Repeatedly execute karana statements are looping. So the statements get executed many number of times based on condition. I told you based on the condition. So in my original example, what is the condition? I need to print almost all the even numbers from 1 to 10. Okay, condition I need to print even numbers. So that is my condition. Right? But if the condition is given in such logic that the repetition continues any number of times with no fixed condition to stop looping those statements, then this type of looping is called infinite looping. So that's why. So if only the condition is given, but no stopping criteria is given, right? No stopping position. If no stopping position is specified, the loop will run until infinite number of times. I asked to print almost all the even numbers, but I didn't mention, right, from up to what point. So my ultimate purpose is to print almost all the even numbers until 10. But if I forgot to mention where to stop, so then the program will print almost all the even numbers until infinity. Right. So types of loops in C, right? Types of loops in C. Depending upon the position of control statement in a program, looping statement in C is classified into 2 types, right? So here within your batch, there may be some students who are interested in programming, have followed some courses, right? So they may know, right? There are different types of loops, for loops, while loops, do while loops, likewise, right? But before going to that lower level of loops, right? Basically, right, broadly, we are going to classify the loops into 2 main categories. That is entry control loop and exit control loop, right? ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන් C වල තියෙන loops, right? අපි ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන් කොටස් දෙකකට බෙදනවා. Right? So that is entry control loop and exit control loop. right? So what do you mean by entry control loop? Right? In an entry control loop, a condition is checked before executing the body of a loop. Right? So first it checks the condition and then execute the loop. Right? So it is also called pre-checking loop. Right? It is also called pre-checking loop. So that means before right, before executing, check the condition. Right? Before executing, check the condition. Right? So it's like I need to print set of even numbers, right? I need to print set of even numbers. So in entry control loop, what they are doing is they first check what is the condition. They identify. So my question is I need to print even numbers from 1 to 10, right? So if I am going under the entry control loop, if I select the entry control loop, then what they first do is first they check the condition and then execute the loop. What is the condition? Print the almost all the even numbers, right? Then only it executes, right? So what do you mean by exit control loop? Exit control loop is a condition check after executing the body of the loop. Condition එක check කරන්නේ body එක execute කරායින් පස්සේ. For example, so they don't first they do not check the condition, then they do not know whether the loop has to print even numbers, odd numbers, or what. So what it does is first it print number 1. So the condition is check කරේ නැහැ නේ. එයා දන්නේ නැහැ මොකද්ද print කරන්න ඕන කියලා. The loop does not know what to print. So but I instruct the loop to start from 1. From 1 to 10, I need to print set of even numbers. Right? So what? Under the exit control loop, first it does not check the condition, but execute the body. So then what it does, it print 1. Although 1 is not an even number because the loop does not know the condition because condition is at the end. First it print, execute the body and do whatever in the body and then only check the condition. After printing 1 only, it recognizes that it has to print even numbers. Then it prints onwards, then it prints even numbers. Right? So mainly, so that is a very simple example I told you, entry control loop and exit control loop. So that is the basic difference between those two types. And exit control loops are also called as post-checking loop. Right? Exit control loop is also called as post-checking loop. Right. The control conditions must be well defined and specified, right? Control conditions must be well defined and specified, otherwise the loop will execute an infinite number of times, right? The loop that does not stop executing the process, the statement's number of time is called infinite loop or also called endless loop. Infinite loop endless loop. Following are some of the characteristics of an infinite loop. The infinite loop conditions no termination condition is specified. As I told you, we have to stop. Stopping criteria, right? So the programmer did not correctly mention the termination condition or the stopping criteria. Right? The specified condition determines whether to execute the specified condition never met. එහෙම නැත්නම් specify කරපු condition එක meet කරන්නේ loop එක. Or otherwise the loop is just not going to meet the specified condition. So these are the two main characteristics of endless loop or else infinite loop. Right. So the specified condition determines whether to execute the loop body or not. Whether the specified condition whether to execute the loop body or not. To an example, we'll clarify. So see, suppose the following types of loops. So these are the most common loops in C. Right? C supports the following loops. So actually in most of the programming languages, so these loops are there in Java, Python. So they are also, we are using same kind of loops, but with the different notations, right? The code, the keywords are different, but mostly we are using while loop, do while loop, and for loop in the other program languages as well. And program languages while loop, do while, for real, right? But there the notations, programming syntax, programming syntax, keywords, they are different. Program language syntax and also. Right. Okay. C loop control statements. Right. C loop control statements. So loop control statements are used to change the normal sequence of execution of a loop. Right. So later on you will see, right? You see. So what is the normal sequence of a, if we take a for loop again, normal sequence right? Right. So this is the starting point, this is the ending point, this is how to jump within the program and what you have to execute in the body. Right. So other than that, loop control statements are used to change the normal sequence of execution of the loop. A normal flow loop in a normal flow in order to interrupt the normal flow of a program, we are using these conditions. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ගලාගෙන යන loop එකක normal flow එක interrupt කරන්න, බාධා කරන්න අපි මෙන්න මේ කියන statement තුන පාවිච්චි කරනවා. Right? We are using these statements, for example, break statements, continue statements, and go to statements to interrupt the normal flow of the loop. Right? To interrupt the normal flow of the loop. So if we consider about break statements, so if I ask you students, so there's another point where you notice break statements, right? Where is that point? Tava tanak ogol identify kara break tiyana. Where is that? Anyone? අපිට break හම්බුණා තව තැනකද? Yes.
Switch statement.
Switch statement. Yes, good. Right. Last week we did, right, switch. C decisions. C decisions වල යටතේ අපි switch කළා. Right? We consider about if statements and like if we go to switch statements. So after each case of the switch, ඔයගොල්ලෝ මතකද switch statements වල cases ගියා. Case 1, case 2, case 3, case 4. At the end of each case, break statements, we put break. Break කියන command එක keyword එක අපි දැම්මා. Right. So why we use break there? To avoid printing almost all the outputs of every cases. හැම case එකක් මොකද? Within switch statement, we need to print only the required case. අවශ්‍ය case එක විතරයි print වෙන්න ඕන. So assume that there are 5 cases. Out of 5 cases, we need to print only the required case. But so in order to do so, what we did after each and every case, right, we put break. If we not put break after each case, then it will print all the cases. So again, it's printed. So so we use break in the switch statement. So likewise, so here also, in order to interrupt the normal flow of the loop, we are using break statements. Syntax. අපි syntax කියලා කියන්නේ coding වල පාවිච්චි කරන වචනය. Right? Within C program code, break statement කියන එක අපි use කරන්නේ මෙන්න මෙහෙම. Break, B-R-E-A-K. Break statements, that is in English, but here within C syntax, break, B-R-E-A-K. So at the end, we are putting a semicolon. Right? It is used to terminate the loop or switch statements. So here you can see. Right? Continue statements. Continue. So this is the syntax. So it is used to suspend the current loop iteration and transfer control loop for the next iteration. Right? So later on you will see, so within the loop there are several iterations. For example, if I say I need to print almost all the numbers from 1 to 10. Right? Let's say I need to print almost all the numbers from 1 to 10. එකේ ඉඳන් 10 දක්වා ඔක්කොම numbers ටික මම print කරන්න ඕනේ. Print කරන්න. Console එකේ. Right? So first loop go and print number 1. So that is the first iteration. Right? Then loop again, needs to print number 2. So that is the second iteration. Right. Then you go and print number 3. That is the third iteration. So that those are these iterations. The iterations can ever. Right. So sometimes, right, it is used to suspend current loop. If we want, for example, assume that we print 1, but if we do not need to print 2, we use continuous statement. So then it will not print 2, but go and print 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7, so on until 10. Right? So there, it will terminate the current loop. It will terminate only, or else we are saying suspend. Suspend කියලා කියන්නේ තාවකාලික නතර කිරීමක් කරනවා current loop එක. But break statement is not like that. If we put break there, for example, I need to print again the numbers from 1 to 10. But if I put break after particular iteration, for example, after the second iteration, so I print 1 in the first iteration, then I print 2 in the second iteration. So after the second iteration, if I put break, then the program terminates. And program is not going to print anything. Right? Program is not going to print anything. So that means program is stuck forever. Only 1, 2 is print. But continuous statement is not like that. So in order to suspend the current loop, so that means we print 1, I need to suspend of printing 2. So I'm not going to print 2, but after that 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 10 is printing. So that is the difference between break and the continue. Break, so the syntax, difference between the break syntax and the continue syntax. Right, next is go to. Right, go to label name, go to. So here you need to insert a label name here. Right, right. So it transfers the current program execution sequence to some other part of the program. Right. Sometimes, for example, let's say, right. So there are set of marks. Right. There are set of marks. Based on the marks, we need to calculate the grade. Right. ඔගලගේ marks අනුව grade එක calculate කරන්න ඕනේ. And assume that after calculating the grade, we are going to group the students into 3 groups. Right? Gonna grade එක අනුව. A, B students are in one group, then B up to C grades are in second group, and so those who are having the grades less than C are in the third group. So within this program, we need to do several tasks. First thing is we need to check the mark. And based on the mark, we need to assign a grade. Then based on the grade, we need to group the students. Right? Several tasks are there. Right? So assume that in this sequence of program, right, if we use go to, right, if we use go to, then what will happen is, right, so for example, assume this mark, 1 mark is coming. For example, let's say 85 is coming, right? Then it checks what is the grade. You last week you see with the C decision statements, we can check whether if a mark is between 180, we can assign grade is equal A or A plus. Right? So then after that sort of decision making, so now grade A is given. And now, so those who are having grade A and B should be placed to group number 1. So then the program will assign that particular student who has grade A to group number A, group number 1. Right. Now another mark is coming. Right. Another mark is coming. Let's say it is 49. Right. Now we are putting go to there. Right. Go to there and we omit giving the grade. අපි grade එක දෙන එක omit කරනවා. Grade එක දෙන්නේ නැහැ. Based on the mark, we directly assign to a group 3. Grade එක නොදී group 3 එකට assign කරනවා. right? So there, in order to omit the program part of the program which decide the grade, we directly assign that particular student to group number 3. The program section ne kapi omit kara, right? We omit that particular part of the program section. So that is the thing that we are going to do using this go to statement. Right? It transfers the current program execution sequence to some other part of the program. Break statement in C. Example. Yeah. The break statement is used mainly in the switch statement. So that is the main place that which we have the experience. It also useful for immediately stopping the loop. Samani break එක අපි පාවිච්චි කරන්නේම switch statement එක ඇතුලේ. But right, it is also useful immediately to stop the loop. Hitana? So assume that the loop is supposed to print numbers from 1 to 100. But immediately we need to stop the loop by 50. Right? So then, we can use the break statement. Right? So we consider the following program which introduces a break into a break to exit a while loop. Then may break a while loop. So you learn that from the previous slide, there are several loops. While loops are there, do while loops are there, for loops are there, you see. Right? Still, you didn't learn about the while loop. While loop but in order to give you an idea of the break, they have used break within the while loop. So if I simply describe this loop, right? So hash include stdio.h. Now the header file is included. So under the main method now, in main, under this main method, there's a variable called num. Integer variable called num is declared and initialized. Num kila variable එකක් declare කරලා initialize කරලා තියෙනවා. So they have used 5 for initializing. Right? Right. So while num is greater than 0, so usual loop එක වෙන්නේ, right? What usually it needs is, assume that this thing is not there. While num greater than 0, print num. So that is the basic idea of this loop. May loop එක ලියලා තියෙන්නේ num greater than 0. So that means if the number is positive, print the number. Right? Again, so why we use while? Whatever the number, ඕන number එකක් positive number එකක් එනවා නම් ඒක print කරන්න. Number එක positive වෙන තාක් print කරන්න. Right? And after printing the number, can you see num minus minus? I think we talk about this. Increment, decrement operators again under the operators, right? So there also we talk about the pre-increment operator and the post-increment operator. So here you have post-decrement operator. So what is after the variable num only minus minus may make a samanai. So num minus minus is equal num minus 1. May num minus minus make it num equal num minus 1. Right? Correct. So that means so at the initial state num is equal 5. Initially num එක 5. Number කියන variable එකේ තියෙන්නේ 5. Right? Initially the number variable contains 5. Right? 5. So now it comes to check this loop. Come to the condition. Right? Come to the condition. So what is the condition? So whether the number is greater than 0. That means simply whether the number is positive or not. Right? So what is the num currently? That the number in a variable again 5. So 5 greater than 0, yes, number is positive. So then it print the number. So it print 5. Print karna. Right. So then num minus minus. Num minus minus means what? Num equals num minus 1. So what is num now? Then num here. Num is 5. Because initially 5 is there. Num here variable again 5 less than 0, yes. So it print 5. 5 print kara num minus minus. So 5 minus 1. So now what is the current num? Then I'll look num 4. So so now the number variable contain number 4. Then in 4. Again, right? Again it goes here. Then I may hatara. So this 4 come and goes here. So now what is the current num here? What is the current num here?
4.
4. So 4 greater than 0. Yes, the condition is true. Hatara vishalai the bindu vada o vishalai. Right. So then again print num. Hatara print karna. So here you can see the output. Hatara print karna. Right. Right. So now num equals num minus 1. So now what is num? Hatara print kara. 4 is printed already. Now 4 minus 1. Num minus minus. So now what is current num? 3. So this particular 3 goes here. 3 greater than 0. Yes, the condition is true. Tuna tamat positive. Right? So this part of it, right? Mame color red color galatila part comic karana. Now go and print num. Tuna print karana. Print 3. Now 5, 4, 3. So here comes num minus minus. Right? So what is now? Current num is 3. 3 minus 1, 2. 2. A2 the 2 greater than 0. Yes, still the condition is true. So print num. So it print 2. So num minus minus, it comes here. 2 minus 1. So now it's 1. Right? So 1 comes here. 1 greater than 0. Yes, 1 greater than 0. Still the condition true. So print num. So we print num. 1 print kernel. Right? So num minus 1. So that means 1 minus 1. What is 0? 0. So now here is 0. Now it comes to the condition again. 0 greater than 0. No. Now the condition violates. Right? Condition is so it stopped here. So make a mind expected output of this particular program. So now you can see this is a very small example where you can see, right? So if you want to print 5 up to 1, decrement numbers print loop if you do not have a loop like this, print number 1, print number 2. So assume that you need to print 100 numbers. Assume that you need to print 100 numbers. Then what you need to write? If you are not using loop printf 1, printf 2, printf 3, printf 5. So you need to write the program up to 100. So assume that it's not. So you are asked to write almost all the prime numbers between 1 and 100. Then you need to write again. Print 1, print 3, print 5. Likewise, you need to write almost all the prime numbers. But except that if we can write a loop like this, right? So very effectively, efficiently, we can conduct what we require. Statements. So ultimately, the purpose of this program is to print number starting from 5 up to 1, right? Okay, that is the main idea. But if so, now you can see now the break statement is here. So after printing number 5, 4 and 5 and 4, it gives a condition like if num exactly equals 3. If num exactly equals 3, break. Num එක 3 වෙනකොට break කරනවා. එතන එහාට print වෙන්නේ නැහැ. So in our normal program it nicely print 5 4 3 2 1. But now what they are able to break statement එකක් include කරලා කියනවා num එක 3 වෙනකොට break කරන program එකේ ඉතින් එහාට print කරන්න එපා. Don't print the other set of numbers stop from 3. So this is the ultimate. Now you can see with the condition, with the stopping condition, they put the break condition, they put the break syntax. This is the idea of break statement. Right. So that is about the break. Right. So this is continue. So what is the difference between break and the continue of equipment? Right. So break forever. Right. Forever stop the program. So here this is the intention of this program is to print 5 until 1. print program So they stop the program from 4. Right, but here the main intention of the continue statement is to just to hold the current, print. Current iteration right? So they need to stop only the current condition. Right. So you may be wondering in what sort of places, right? In what sort of places we need to print. For example, let's say we need to print. Assume that in a particular company, there are 100 employees are working, right? So for a one day, they need to get a report of the attendance. Right? They need to get a report of the attendance of the employees. Right? For that particular day, 2 employees has been absent. Employee number 2 and employee number 50. May employees la denna naha. දෙක සහ employee number එක දෙක සහ employee number එක 50 කියන employees la denna naha. So those 2 employees have already absent. But they need to print a report including the employees who have come on that day. So then definitely you need to avoid printing employee number 2 and employee number 50. දෙකත් 50ක් කියන numbers දෙක අරලා නමුත් ඉතිරි ඔක්කොම print වෙනවා. So you need to print almost all the numbers, employee numbers from 1 to 100, but except employee number 2 and employee number 50. So for those kind of situations, you can use the continue statement. So that is, I give you a very simple example. Right. So here, again, they have used the while loop. When you want to skip the next iteration, but remain in the loop, you should use the continue statement. Still remain in the loop. Right. Loop again, but here, we just straight away, we remove from the loop. Right. Break some loop again. Right. So here, nothing is printed after 3. But here, if you look at the output here, right, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. What is omitted here? If you look at only at the output,
5.
5. printed නැතුව omitted. නමුත් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට පේනවා ඉතින් ඔක්කොම print වෙලා. 5න් පස්සේ තියෙනවානේ 4, 3, 2, 1. So nicely printed. Right. So what has done? So there we include a continue. So hash include stdio.h. Right. So the header file is included. Now within the main program, int main. Right. So first the variable is initialized, declared and initialized. NB, a variable name NB. NB is it's an integer type variable and initialized with 7. Initialized වෙලා තියෙනවා. right? So now we are starting our while loop, right? While NB greater than 0, again, I'm going to right, while NB greater than 0, now you can see, and immediately after that, it post decrement it and then print it. Now, right? If you look at this program, right? If you look at this program, so you first check the condition, right? You first check the print කරලා decrease करे, right? But here, right? But here, you check the condition, first decrease and then print. එහෙම කරන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැතුව don't think that for the continue statements එකකට එහෙම කරන්නම කියලා දෙයක් නැහැ. That can be done for the break statement as well. But this is also possible. Right? Check the condition, decrease and print. So that is why now මේ output එකෙන් හොඳටම ඒක ඔයගොල්ලෝ තේරුම් ගනිවි. So here, so check the condition first. What is the value hold in NB? NB කියන variable එකේ තියෙන value එක 7. Right? If so here, then straight away decrease 7 when comes to here, 7 minus 1 6. මෙතනින් එහාටම යන්නේ 6 වෙලා. Then print 6. Right? Assume හිතන්න මේ condition එක මෙතන නෙමෙයි decrement එක තියෙන්නේ print එකෙන් පස්සේ නම්, right? So check the condition, print the NB and then decrement. එහෙමනම් මෙතන 7 print වෙනවා. Right? Then this 7 has to be printed, but here 7 is not printed because just after checking the condition it decrement. Condition එක check කරපු හැටි එකක් අඩු කරනවා. Right? So that's why 6 is printed, not started from 7 but started from 6. Right? So now check the condition. Now originally NB has 7, so 7 minus 1 means 6 and print 6 and then again go here. දැන් මෙතනට යනකොට කීයද තියෙන්නේ 6. Right? 6 greater than 0, yes, the condition is true. So then decrement 6 minus minus means 5. Right? So then let's say we are in the normal program. අපි මෙතන 5 print කරනවා. Right? So print. Again now, so when we come here, now here we have 5. මෙතන එනකොට අපිට තියෙන්නේ 5. 5 greater than 0, yes, true. 5 minus minus, that is 4, print 4. Print karna. Likewise, we are printing up to 1. Right. So now assume we have this continuous statement. Hariyata print karana. So if there is no such continuous statements, we are printing 6 up to 1. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But here, so just after printing 6, there they give a continuous statement including this decision. If NB is exactly equal 5, NB can exactly equal 5 now, right? If NB exactly equal 5, then you need to continue. So that means you omit that particular iteration. A iteration එක ඔයගොල්ලෝ skip කරනවා. Right? So then go here. 5 greater than 0, yes, true. Then 5 minus minus 4. Then on day, එතනින් එහාට print වෙනවා. මොකද මේක මෙයා omit කරන්නේ. So here this program omits only if NB is exactly equal 5. අහනම් විතරයි omit වෙන්නේ. Right? So there, so you should notice this one from the previous program also. If we need, right? If we need to check whether it's that number, you need to use 2 equal marks, not 1 equal mark. Ek equal mark එකක කියන්නේ, so you are assigning a particular value to a variable, ඔයගොල්ලන්ට check කිරීමක් විශේෂයෙන් within the if condition එකක් ඇතුලේ if you are making a decision, right, decision එකකදී ඔයගොල්ලෝ check කරනවා නම් condition එක, you need to use 2 equal marks. If you put 1 equal mark here, the compiler give you an error. This is not a condition එකක් නෙමෙයි කියලා error එකක්. Right, so especially so when you are doing a decision and if you need to check the equality, you need to use 2 equal marks. So that is the other thing you need to consider. So here from the same program you can identify the difference. මෙතන assignment එකක්, මෙතන condition check එකක්. Right, only 1 equal mark, 2 equal marks. So that is the use of continuous statement. Right, අපි මුලින්ම එනවා while loop. Right, so now you have, I think you have rough idea about what do you mean by while loop, because from the first 2 examples we have gone through while loop. While api in Sinhala api kiyana turu until while කියන එක දෙන්නේ එහෙම. ඒ program එකේ 0 print වෙන්නේ නැද්ද? Let's see. So මගෙන් අහනවා කෙනෙක්, so is there any possibility to print it? So මම හිතන්නේ immediately අපි continue finish කරපු program එක වෙන්න ඕනේ. නෑ 0 print වෙන්නේ අපේ condition වර්ධනය එක whether NB is greater than 0. Right, whether NB is greater than 0. ඒ condition එක check කරලා තමයි print කරන්නේ. Right, condition එක check කරලා තමයි print කරන්නේ. So let's say 1. Wait, when here 1 comes here, 1 greater than 0. Yes, correct. මෙතන 0 print වෙනවා. Good question. Right, why? So initial program එකේ 0 print වෙන්නේ නැහැ මම කියන්නම්. So මෙතන, so when we comes here, right, මෙතන NB 1 වෙලා ආවම, right, when NB is equal 1 here, check the condition 1 greater than 0. Yes, condition එක හරි. නමුත් මෙතනින් 1 minus කරාම මේක බිඳුව වෙනවා. Right, 1 minus is equal to 0. So then it straight away print 0 here. Finally 0 print karna. So after 0, මෙතන 0 එනවා. So now the condition violates. 0 greater than 0, no. Condition wrong. So therefore then only stop. But here 0 printed. Yes, good. Right. So when we go to the previous program, අපි කලින් program එකට ගියොත් we go to the initial program, right? If you go to this particular program, right, no, in the break statement එකෙන් අපි මෙතන තුන ඉවත් කරනවානේ. ඒ නිසා මේක එන්නේ නැහැ කොහොමද? Right, otherwise if we think that if there is no break statement, if there is no such break statements here in normal program එක ඇතුලේ, right, let's say from here we are coming 1 greater than 0, print 1. එතකොට මෙතන print 1, let's say 3 print කරලා, 2 is also here. Now 1 check කරනවා, 1 greater than 0, yes, print කරනවා මෙතන 1. Okay, so after that 1 minus then එන්නේ බිඳුව. Right, here 0 is greater than 0, no, the condition violates. එතනින්ම program එක ඉවරයි. මෙතන 0 print වෙන්නේ නැහැ, but following program continue, which includes the continue statement, yes, it prints 0. Good. Right. Okay, so now we are coming to the C while loop. So actually you will notice why it happens, because the placement of this decrement operator. මේ decrement operator එක place කරපු තැන අනුව output එක වෙනස් වෙච්ච හැටි බලන්න. So you by yourself can observe. So when the decrement operator is just after printf, so it stopped by 1, එකෙන් නතර වෙනවා. But when the decrement operator, right, when the decrement operator is just after the while loop, and just after the condition, it print up to 0. Right. Okay. See while loops, right? See while loop statement allow repeatedly run the same block of code until a condition is met. Right? See while loops statements allow to repeatedly run the same block of code until a condition is met. Condition meet right? So until it meets a particular condition, make it my condition. So until nb greater than or equal 0. So here until num greater than 0, it runs the loop. Loop run right? While loop is most basic loop in C programming, right? While loop basic one. While loop has one control condition and execute as long as condition is true, right? Eka condition so while loop has only one control condition, whether num greater than 0. So that is the condition. As long as the condition is true, it's loop, right? So the condition of loop is tested before the body of the loop is executed. Hence, it is called an entry control loop. The overall pay body ka run when tamai while execute when. So here, what is the body? So normally, what is the body of the loop? Then what is the body of the loop? Right here, this is the body of the loop. Make tamai body of the loop. Right? So this is the body of the loop. So before it check the condition and then coming to the body of the loop, condition check karla tamai body body execute when, right? Only after checking the condition, it comes to the body of the loop. So therefore, we call while loop as what? As entry control loop, right? Entry control loop. First, it check the condition and then come to the body of the loop. So then it is called as entry control loop, right? Entry control loop. So this is the basic format. Actually, you already gone through the 2 examples, right? Now you have plenty of experience regarding this. This is the basic format. While loop clear make it basic format, right? This is the basic format. While you need to mention the condition, right? So this is the body part, right? This is the body part, right? This is the body. So within the body, you need to, right? You need to mention what to do. So here, the very important part is the incrementation. When you make incrementation, make increment decrement. So in our previous 2 examples, take a decrement, right? So this one, nb minus, make a incrementation or decrementation. This is must, may num minus. So with the other statements within the body of the while loop, with the other statements, one of my other statement is num exactly equal 3, break, print, may so definitely there should be increment or decrement. Increment, decrement make iteration so increment decrement program does not know whether the program has to increment, decrement. Sometimes, so here you increment by 1. The method increment sometimes you need to increment by 2. Right? So sometimes you increment by 3, decrement by 3, likewise. So definitely with all the other statements within the body, right? Within the body, with all the other statements, you need to mention what is the increment or the decrement. The increment and decrement anivaryam mention karana. That's a must. Right. So this is the basic format of loop statement. This is an example. Right. So this is an example. This example is to print numbers from 1 to 10. Again, I'm saying if you are not using a loop use assume that you do not know anything about loop. What you have to do, printf number, printf1, printf2, printf3, printf4, you need to write until 10. So in order to avoid that repetition, repetitively you are writing, and also it consumes a lot of time, it consumes a lot of space, and then the program space එකක් මේ දෙකම avoid කරන්න you can use loops. ඒකට තමයි ඔයගොල්ලෝ loops පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ, right? So here is an example code include stdi.h. Apart from this header file, they have included another header file. තව header file එකක් දාලා තියෙනවා, right? So you do not need to, so when you are writing programs, you get accustomed to this header file rather than stdi.h. We don't know why we use mainly use stdi.h, because in order to use this printf, scanf මේවා use කරන්න අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම මේ අපේ main header file එක තියෙන්නම ඕනේ. But other than that, if you are using a certain mathematical operation, right? Mathematical operations කරනවා ඊට ගැලපෙන header files තියෙනවා. ඒවා ඔයගොල්ලෝ include කරන්නට ඕනේ, right? Whenever you are doing. Otherwise, for example, you are doing a certain mathematical operation here within the body of the loop, but you do not include the relevant header file. Then definitely the compiler will say that I can't recognize the math that you are doing within the body of the program. Because most of the times, let's say the maths operations include header file include operations order body run, right? So don't worry about the names of the header file whenever you are doing the codings, right? When you refer the codings of the internet, whenever you are practicing coding by yourself, you will get used to these things, right? So the best way to get used to these things, to write codes by yourself and run codes by yourself. Program practice karot විතරයි මේ හැම දේම in Sinhala අපි කියන හැම අස්සක් මුල්ලම. Every nook and corner you can catch whenever you write program and you execute program by yourself only, right? Every nook and corner හැම අස්ස මුල්ලම වාට program එකේ හම්බෙන්නේ ඔයා program කරොත් විතරයි. Right? And remember, the other thing is I am biased towards maths. සාමාන්‍ය මගේ මේ final paper එක ඔයගොල්ලෝ last year paper එක බැලුවොත් තේරෙයි පොඩ්ඩක් මම maths වලට bias, right? So when I'm asked to write a program, usually my programming paper consists of mathematical operations, right? Not too serious maths. ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්නම maths වලින් තමයි මම programs අහන්නේ mathematical codes වලට අහන්නේ, right? So there are so many programs in the internet also you can find and practice. For example, write a program, right? Write a program. All right, okay, I'll upload the lecture note, right? So if I ask to write a program to calculate the perimeter of the circle, so I need to calculate the perimeter of the circle, so you need to write a program for that, right? Perimeter. Circle එක වටේ දිග හොයන්න program එකක් ලියන්න කියනවා. So likewise, I asked to write a program to calculate the factorial of a number. Factorial දෙන number එකක factorial එක හොයන program එකක් ලියන්න කියනවා. So I asked the program to print almost all the prime numbers from 1 to 100. So somewhat I am biased towards maths. Right? So therefore, so you need to write codes by yourself, you need to do the assignments by yourself, then you will got accustomed to these header files. Within the program body, you are including the maths operations because you are fluent in maths, but the compiler say, I can't recognize whatever the maths here. So then definitely when you search the internet, you will identify you have missed the header file. So then you include the particular header file there. Right? So that's why I'm saying try by yourself, you need to write codes. Otherwise, definitely you will fail in the final exam. Right? Final exam code right? Remember that. Right? Again, I'm saying no more, I think, online exams, almost all the physical exams. right? So therefore, if you want to pass this particular course, you need to write the because again I'm saying programming is the heart. Programming is the heart of even the maths, computer science, and all. So you need to do coding, right? So this is the foundation code that you are having. So afterwards, during this degree program, you need to do different programming. Internet programming is there. Internet related things you need to program. You need to create websites of your own. Then there's mobile application development using the Android, whatever you need to develop your apps, right? Your apps. It can be Android apps or iOS apps. I think basically the degree program has the subject for the Android development, right? To do so, do such things, especially for the final year research projects, right? I'm having 4 research groups, right? I think nearly 3 research groups, they are developing apps. Research group tunamage apps adana, right? So therefore, right, coding is very, very essential. Coding is very, very essential. Without coding, right? So now, nowadays we are planning our MSc program of our department. So they are also, so most of the subjects, the base is the coding, right? Although you are going to learn Python, although you are going to learn the data science, data mining, big data. So that those are the coming trends in the world now. So to learn everything, basis is Python, basis is coding. Coding. Without coding, you can't do anything. AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, so everything you need sort of coding. Maybe coding, but you need to understand, you need to have a good foundation of coding. So in order to do so, coding is not a subject where you can learn by heart and do, right? There should be practice, right? So with that, so this is the very first programming which you will experience under while loop. So now include stdr.h, include con.h, right? Then within the main method, right? Then within the main method, right? Then within the main method, so here is the while loop running. So before the while loop, there is a variable is declared and initialized. Declared and initialized. Variable have declared num variable, integer variable is initializing with 1. Now we are going to start the while loop. So while loop with condition. So this is the while loop with condition. What is the condition? You need to print the number equal to 10. Number එක 10ට සමාන වෙනකම් print කරනවා. Right? Less than or equal 10. Right? You are starting from 1. Right? So while loop, so now this is the body. This is the body area of the while loop, right? So check the number, print the number, and now you can see here the increment is done. And the increment again. So what is, we are starting from 1. We check whether 1 is less than or equal 10. Yes, print the number 1, right? Print the number 1. Now increment. So num equals num plus num equals num plus 1. So this is the idea of num plus, same thing. Right? So එතකොට මෙතන num එක ආවේ kai 1 කියන්නේ 1 plus 1 කියන්නේ 2. So again comes to the condition 2 less than or equal 10. Yes, දෙක 10ට වඩා අඩුයි. Print the 2, again num plus. So then 2 plus 1, 3. Again check the condition 3 less than 10. Print the 3. 3 plus, that means 4. 4 less than 10. Print the 4 plus, that is 5. 5 less than 10. Print the 5 plus, that means 6 less than 10. Print the 6 plus, that means 7 less than 10. Print the 7 plus, that is 8 less than 10. Print 8 plus, that is 9 less than 10. Print 9 plus, that is 10 less than 10 less than or equal 10. Yes, still the condition is true. So print 10, 10 plus plus, that is 11, 11 less than 10, 11 less than or equal to 10. Now the condition violates, stop at that point. So that is why print 1 up to 10. See, do while. So before going to do while, let's see whether we have a practical program using our C compiler. Students, now can you see the compiler? Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, madam.
Okay, right. Mukada payne. Dev seems software screen එක පේනවද?
Oh, madam.
Alright. Right, this is an example of while loop. Yes, this is an example of while loop, right? So it's a header file within the main method, right? Within the main method. So this is the limits starting and the ending point of the main method. So now you can see local variable initialization. So here two variables have been initialized, two integer variables, n equals 1, n equals 1 and times equal 5. Times equal 5. Right? So while loop එක ඇතුලේ අපි කතා කරනවා while n greater than or equal times කියන්නේ එතන 5 මෙතන එන්නේ 5 right instead of that we can use times දාන්නත් පුළුවන් එහෙම නැත්නම් 5 දාන්නත් පුළුවන් right while n less than or equal 5 printf c while loop print කරනවා n plus plus මෙතන තියෙන්නේ increment so that means you are supposed to print 1 එකෙන් පටන් ගන්න 5 වෙනකම් print කරන්න ඕනේ. So let's compile.
We can't hear you.
Sorry. So here, so this is the output 1 up to 5, right? So I have included text, see while loops along with each number, or else you can omit it. For example, if I stop share this, and if I come back to the program එකට ඇවිල්ලා, so I just omit this part. Compile, run. So if I share the output with you, now you can see the output 1 up to 5. Right? So this is one such example under the while loop. Let's see whether we have any other examples. Right, with that, we'll move back to the note. See do while. Now we finished the while. Right now we are coming to the see do while. So here you need to notice what is the difference between while and do while. While සහ do while අතර තියෙන වෙනස ඔයගොල්ලෝ notice කරන්නට ඕනේ. Right. See, do while loops are very similar to while loops, but it always executes the code block at least once, and furthermore, as long as condition remains true. Right? See, do while loops are very similar to the while loops, but it always executes the code block at least once, and furthermore, as long as condition remains true. එතකොට මෙතන කියන code block at least one, furthermore as long as condition remains true. Right. So the important thing is this is an exit control loop. එතන while එක කිව්වේ entry control loop එක. Right. So what is while? While මෙතන මේක කියනවා මේගොල්ලෝ. See, while is an entry control loop. So what is entry control loop? The condition of the loop is tested before the body of the loop is executed. Before coming to the body, condition check. Always condition එක check කරලා තමයි body එක ඇතුළට එන්නේ. So this is entry control loop. So what do you mean by exit control loop? Exit control එකේදී කියන්නේ condition is checked after executing the body. First it execute the body, then only it check the condition. ඉස්සෙල්ලා body එක execute කරලා තමයි condition එක check වෙන්නේ. So that is the main difference between entry control and exit control. So while is enter control and do while is exit control. So this is the basic format of do while loop. Then බලන්න do. It starts from do within the body statements. This is the body. And here while condition after executing the body. So let's say we need to print 1 up to 100. So first it print and then come to the condition. Right. So this is the statement. This is the syntax, basic format of the do while loop. Do statements while condition. So if we go back to the basic format of the normal while loop. So this is while condition within the body. So the statements and implementation is going on. Statements and implementation is going on. But within the do while loop, right? First do, then within the body statement, then after executing the body, only check the condition. Right? So this is an example. Everything, yes. Include stdio.h and the other header file. So within the main method, int. So now the integer variable is initialized with 1. Now you can see do කියලා. So අපි open කරන curly brace එක. So within the brackets, within the curly braces, print 2 multiplied by num. So here num is starting from 1. So what you need to print, not just num, number එක නෙමෙයි print කරන්නේ, 2 multiplied by num. Number එක දෙකෙන් වැඩි කරලා තමයි ඔය print කරන්නේ. So then incrementation is there. Increment operation එක තියෙනවා. Num plus plus. So in the first time it's 1 num. After the first iteration it's 1. Then you check the condition. දැන් මෙතන num එක දෙකෙන් වැඩි කරා, ඒක print කරා, increment කරා ඊට පස්සේ තමයි condition එක check කරන්නේ. First, print the number after multiplying by 2, then increment the number, then only it check the condition. Right? So first in first case, now number is 1. 1 multiplied by 2. So we print the 2 and num plus plus. So what is num originally now? Num still 1. Right? අපි මෙතන num එක, so here we multiply num by 2. We print it. නමුත් ඒක num වලට affect උනේ නැහැ. Right? Fine. Explain like this. This is num. Right. So what is num? Initially 1. Right? 1. Print 2 multiplied by num. එතකොට 1 multiplied by 2, 2. එක print කරා. නමුත් but so now මෙතන එන්නේ 2 නේ. Right? But this 2 we didn't store in num. මෙතන ආපු 2 එක multiply කරලා ආපු උත්තරේ. So the answer we got after multiplying the num by 2 we didn't store here. මෙතන store කරන්න කිව්වේ නැහැ. Right? අපි store කරන්න කිව්වට කොහොමද කියන්න ඕනේ ඒක? Num equals 2 multiplied by num. මෙහෙම දෙයක් මෙතන කිව්වේ නැහැ. Num. So although we multiply num by 2, we didn't ask the program to store that particular answer again in num. So therefore still num කියන variable bucket එකේ ඉන්න එකම තමයි. මෙතන දෙක print කරාට. Although we print 2 here, still the number variable hold 1. So num plus plus is now original num is 1. So num plus plus means now it is 2. Now only it is 2. දැනුයි දෙක උනේ. Right? So now it is 2. Now 2. So then printf 2 multiplied by num. So what is num here? 2. 2 multiplied by 2. Now it is 4. So we print 4 here. Num plus plus. So num plus plus. So what is num? Not 4. Num එක 4 නෙවෙයි. Num එක 2යි. So which is in the bucket? Right? Which is in the variable? Which is 2. 2 plus plus. Then 3. අපි බලනවා 3 greater than or equal 10 less than or equal 10 yes the condition is true. So we go here again. 2 multiplied by what is num? Num එක කීයද? දැන් මෙතන 3 වුණා. Right? 2 multiplied by 3 6. මේක මෙතන print වුණා. Right? 6. Num plus plus. So what is num here? Num is still 3. 3. එතකොට 3 plus plus කියන්නේ 4. අපි යනවා condition එකට. 4 less than or equal 10. Yes, the condition is true. Then මෙතන ඉන්නේ 4. මෙතන ඉන්නේ 4. Right? So again we go to here. 2 multiplied by num. Num එකේ ඉන්නේ 4. 4 කියන්නේ 2 multiplied by 4. ඒ කියන්නේ 8. 8යි. Right? So we print 8 මෙතන. Right? So num plus plus. So what is num 4? 4 plus plus කියන්නේ 5. දැන් එතකොට මෙතන ඉන්නේ 5. 5. අපි බලනවා condition එක 5 less than or equal 10. Yes, true. It's okay. Now we come here again. Right? 2 multiplied by num. 5. 2 multiplied by 5 කියන්නේ now it's 10. 10 දැම්මා. Right? Num plus plus. Num එක 5යි. 5 plus plus ඒ කියන්නේ 6. අපි බලනවා condition එක 6 less than or equal 10. Yes, true. දැන් මෙතන 6. Yes, true. Again, we come here. Likewise, we go until 20. 20 යන්නේ කොහොමද? මෙතන නම් plus ගිහිල්ලා අවසානයේ මෙතන 11 එනකොට. Right? When it comes 11, 11 less than or equal 10, when I know it violates, then it prints only 20 here. Because always we are not printing just num. Num එක නෙමෙයි print කරන්නේ 2 multiplied by num. So අපි 10 වලින් 2 multiplied by 10 20 කියන එක print කරලා නතර වෙනවා. num එක 11 වෙද්දී print වෙන්නේ. This is do while loop. So in the do while loop, first it execute the body and print or do whatever in the body. Then only increment to කරයින් පස්සේ after doing increment or else the decrement only check the condition. Right? It check the condition and then come again to the body. So this is the main difference between while and do while. See 4 loops, you know. Before that, we'll go to an example. So here, example for the do while. Do while. Let's see whether we have an example from do while. Yes, we have an example. Do while. This is the example for do while, right? If you I am deleting the comments. ඔයගලන්ට ටිකක් disturb වෙයි කියලා visually මම comments delete කරනවා, right? Right. So here, same program. අපි කලින් කතා කරපු while program එකමයි. So same program here, right? So same program has been written using while and do while. This is the while program which we have observed previously, and now do while. එක do while වලින් ලියලා. Any two integer variables n and times have been initialized with 1 and 5. So printf c do while loops. Here also we are going to print 1 up to 5. So print is do print. What is n? Initially 1. So this is the increment 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1. So now n is 2. We check whether it's correct or not. 2 greater than or equal. Times means 5. There are times දාන්නත් පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් times වල ඉන්නේ දැන් 5 දාන්නත් පුළුවන්. 5. So this loop until n is greater than or equal 5. n higher වෙනකොට when n is equal 6, this condition terminates. So we'll compile. Right. So we'll share the output with you. This is the output. This is the output of C do while loops. 1 up to 5. Right down. Right. So then we'll go back to the lecture. Right. So that C follows. So the last loop type that we come across is C for loops. For loop is also very important, right? Like while loops. So actually we are most frequently used while and for. So do while is rarely used. Do while but we frequently use C while loops and C for loops. So C for loop is very similar to while loops, in that it continues to process a block of code until a statement becomes false, and everything is defined in a single line. When you compare while loop and C loop, everything is in single line. C loop එක ඔක්කොම ඉන්න එක line එකේ. So In the while loop දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ දකිනවා, right? If we consider about the format of the while loop එකේ here is the condition එක මෙතන. So body of statements here, incrementation ඊට පස්සේ. But look at the syntax of the for loop, right? For loop එකේ syntax එක ගත්තොත් yes. Students, can you see the slides? Normal slides or you are seeing black slides? Black background එක අද පේන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට slides පේනවද? Black එක?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Right. So let's look at the syntax of basic format of C loop, for loop. Right. So this is the basic format. Right. This is the basic format of the for loop statement. So now you can see. So in this statement, before coming to the body of the for loop, right here for. Right. So within this brackets, within these round brackets, initialization is there, condition is there, as well as the incrementation is there. ඔක්කොම මෙතන. එකම single line එකේ. So only within the curly brackets, the body of the for loop is there. But other than that, everything, where to start, what is the condition, and how to increment, right? So normally, initialization tells you where to start. Make condition again තමයි. Right, condition tells you run this particular loop until where. So that means normally the stopping criteria is here along with the condition. Make condition again, then the stopping again. For example, in the previous examples also, we observe that condition while n less than or equal 10. So that means when num is 11, you need to stop. Right? Condition again, basically stopping criteria. Right? Initialization, condition, and also the increment. So here you remember in the do while loop. So if you go to the while loop, right? While loop. So condition is here within the body. At the end of the body, increment is here. But it's not like the for loop, right? For loop, everything is in single line. If the for loop we got the structure. As a structure, it is very easy structure. Right? It's a very easy structure. So here is an example. Include our header file within the main method, right? In number. So number, integer type variable called number is declared, right? Declared, not initialized, but declared, right? So up to here, so you should observe, we initialize num variable like in while also we declared and initialize. So in the while loop as well, right? While loop again. Right, before we start in the while loop, we declare and initialize a variable. Declare and initialize it. But here, if you go to the for loop, you will notice that, right? So here the variable is only declared, not initialized. Now we are going to the for number. So here the initialization is happened here. Initialization is happened here. Then condition. So after putting semicolon, condition. Number less than or equal 10. Then again semicolon, number plus plus. Right? So number is equal 1, semicolon, number less than or equal 10, semicolon. Right? Here the initial and the increment. This can be increment or decrement or whatever. Here also, we write this for loop to print 1 up to 10 numbers. Okay, the higher numbers print right? So, however, the format of the for loop is very easy. Sometimes you may be wondering, so can we do this declaring within the for loop itself? Samhara කෙනෙක් හිතන්න පුළුවන් මෙහෙම කරන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා. Right, for right? This is also possible, right? So you need to specifically check, right? In almost most programming languages. So as I told you, we use for the declaration, both declaration and initialization possible. Check with your compiler, right? Really, sometimes not, but most oftenly this should be allowed. Again, LEI declare so you can do the declaring and initialization within the for loop as well, right? So within the for loop, you initialize, declaring and initialization. So then condition and then everything you can do within the for loop. So this is the output. So how to jump? So let's see how to jump from here. Right? So now for in number initially 1, right? Number is initially 1. So now we go here. We check the condition 1 less than 10. 1 less than 10. So then from here, we go and print the number. Right? After that, we come here. right? Look at the program, right? Then balana. So otherwise you think, right? So number is equal 1. Now the number variable have 1 initialized, right? 1 less than 10. එක 10ට වඩා අඩුයි. ඔයගොල්ලෝ හිතයි මේක යන්නේ ඊගාවට මෙතනින් මෙතනට කියලා. Right? You may think, so the next step is after checking the condition, you straight away go for the increment. No, that is not the method. එහෙම නෙමෙයි යන්නේ. Although everything is here in one line, right? So the way that it goes, right, is different, right? The traversing method is different. So here, so if you think, let's say like this, number is equal 1 initially, so number is less than or equal 10, just true. The එක 10ට අඩුයි. So if you think it goes here, then what will happen? Number is 1, num equals num plus. Here we are incrementing. Again, number equals number plus 1. Again, method 2. So after incrementation only, it will go and print. එතකොට number එක print වෙනවා. එහෙමනම් මෙතන එක print වෙන්න බෑ. එහෙනම් මෙතන print වෙන්න පටන් ගන්න ඕනේ දෙකේ. Right? So therefore, the traversing method is different, students, right? First, what you have to do within the for loop, number is equal 1, you check here whether the condition is true or not. Yes, the condition is true. So after that, we straight away come and print. Print karana. So that is why we print 1. Right? So then after printing, we come here. Increment 1 is equal 1 plus 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Then number 2. Right? Then number 2. Again go to the condition. 2 less than or equal 10. Yes. Now the condition is true. Again come back here. Print. And now we 2 print kara. So here we print 2. So again go back here. Increment 2 plus 1, 3. Again come to the condition. Whether 3 is less than or equal 10. Yes, true. So again come here. Print 3. So now you can see print 3. Again come to the increment. 3 plus 1, 4. Again go to the condition. 4 less than 10. Again go to the print. Again come to the increment. Again condition. Likewise, this goes until the condition is true. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට පේනවා ඇති මේ ඉනිෂියලයිසේෂන් එකකින් කන්ඩිෂන් එක චෙක් වුණේ එකම එක අවස්ථාව එකම එක ඊතලයේ පැත්තට වැදුවේ. So only the first time it initialized and checked the condition. Thereafter we are not touching the initialization. ආයෙත් initialization එක පැත්තටවත් යන්නේ නැහැ. So after initialization we check the condition, we print, we increment, again check the condition, we print, increment, again check the condition, we print, increment, again check the condition, we print, increment. So this goes after the condition is true. Right? Initialization happens and check the condition only at the first time. පළවෙනි වතාව විතරයි initialization එකේ ඉන්න condition එක check වෙන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ initialization එක දිහා බලන්නවත් නැහැ. We are not even look at the initialization after that. This is how the for loop travels. Right? So although everything is nicely packed in one line, although everything is nicely packed in one line, so the way it travels is different, right? So that is what mainly you need to identify. Otherwise, your output will get different. Output will, so whenever you are coding, it's okay. Okay, but remember, students, in the assignments, basically in your final paper, you will be given a code like this. Complete, I will be given a completed code like this and ask you to write the output. Code output. So you need to check the code and write the output. Then, if you do not know this traversing part, then you will do mistakes. So therefore, remember how the for loop is traversing from where to where. Right? So that is important. Right? So then four examples. So here are the 4 examples. Here's something. For example, here you can see now there's an x variable which is initialized 0 and that is y. Now you can see there are two initializations. So two variables have been initialized here. X equals 0 and y equals none. Variable දෙකක් මෙතන initialize වෙලා. So in our initial case මෙතන තියෙන්නේ just only one variable initialize, then condition, then increment. But here you will notice that not just one variable but two variables are initialized. Using these two variables, the conditions are set. So the condition එක හදන variable දෙකම use කරලා. And then the increment. So increment also you will notice there are two increments. Right here. Also we can skip the initial value expression. Yeah. Right. So මෙතන initial expression එක ඔයගොල්ලෝ skip කරන්නත් පුළුවන්. So here did you notice that here? So you have used I and max. Within the program, you have used the variable I and also the max. I සහ max කියලා variable දෙකක් use කරලා තියෙනවා. So initially, දැන් මෙතනදී x, y ඔයගොල්ලෝ දෙකම මෙතන initialize කරා. You have initialized both within the for loop structure and you have used both in the condition. But here you will notice, right? You have used two variables here, I and max. Two variables have used within the for loop structure, but they are not initialized within the for loop structure. For loop එක ඇතුලේ ඒවා initialize වෙලා නැහැ, initialize වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. That is also okay possible. That is also correct. Again, මෙතන initialization එක skip කරලා. So other than putting the initialization, they just put a semicolon. They just put a semicolon and then the condition and then the increment. Initialization not here. It is outside of the for loop. Again, it's correct. Another thing, also we can skip the initial value expression, condition or increment by adding a semicolon. Right? Right. Notice that the loop can also be nested where there is an outer loop and inner loop. So those are some extra things that you will need to learn. I will explain them later. So actually students, this marks the end of the lecture. So see loops, right? Since 9:50 and I know that I think you have a lecture at 10. So I'm going to finish the lecture. So basically we have concluded the lecture, see loops. Right, we'll upload the lecture note to the LMS. You can study the lecture note. Remember that recently I will upload the assignment 1 and also get ready for the mid-semester exam as well. Right. So thank you for joining and please send me the messages now on for the attendance. And remember that one thing I notice is I noticed some students has just joined when we are going to conclude the lecture. Right, some are joining at 9, some are joining at 9:30. So although I told you to send me the index number at the end of the lecture, so I'm getting the report from the Zoom, right? So I can get the report from the Zoom about the duration of the what a particular student, what is the duration that he has joined the lecture. මතක තියාගන්න lecture එක ඉවර වෙන වෙලාවට join වෙලා index number එක මෙතන mention කරත් අපි වෙනමම Zoom එකෙන් අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ Zoom එකේ log වෙලා හිටපු කාලය. Right? So we are considering that thing also. So don't do that, right? Try to join from the lecture from the beginning. So it will advantageous and not risk for you as well. Right? Okay, thank you. For those who have sent me the messages, you can leave the lecture. Thank you.